Alright, so we're going to make a foldable. And to do that, you're just going to take a piece of paper and you're going to fold it hot dog or churro. Right there. Right before the circles or the holes in the page. And then between the midpoint of the pages, I'm just going to draw a line here. Another line right here. And then you're going to go ahead and add, this is our finished product. So you can just write your types of functions: linear, quadratic, and exponential. And then you open the flaps on the top there. On the left, you're going to write how to recognize, and on the right side, how to write an equation. So let me go ahead and zoom in right here for you. Alright, so VL stands for linear. How do you recognize a linear? Well, a linear is a straight line, visually. In math, we read from left to right. So pretend this is you, and you're walking from left to right. You'll notice that you're going up a hill. So that's increasing, or we call that positive slope. If you're over here on the second one down here, if you go left to right, you are going down. Down is for decreasing or a negative slope. You also know it's linear based on the word problems. It has a constant rate of change. Everyone say constant rate of change? Last class informed me, my first job was working at Jamba Juice. I got paid $6 an hour. And then they laughed at me. And I said, how much is minimum wage now? And I said, $8? And they said, no, mister, we get paid $11. And I said, what? That's a lot. Now, you can also recognize a linear by the first common difference. And I'll explain that next when we're using our table of values. The most popular linear function form is slope-intercept form. There are two other forms, point slope and standard form, but we'll just focus on this one. Y equals mx plus b is your slope-intercept form. Your m represents the slope. Slope can also be represented by rise over run. Slope can also be is the difference of the y's over the difference of x. So in science, that's a delta, the triangle change. Slope is also this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Basically, you're just taking the two ordered pairs there. And the b of the slope-intercept form is your y-intercept. Class, what is this intercept? The y-intercept. How do you get a y-intercept? It is an order pair, 0 and a number. Alright, so how do you write a linear equation? How do you know it's linear? Well, if you have this table of values here, you'll notice that here I'm going plus 1, plus 1. But on the y's, I'm going from 7 to 4 to 1. The numbers are getting smaller, so you're subtracting 3, subtracting 3.
Wait, I found the right one.
This is your first common difference. Well, because we have a first common difference, this number is the same. Okay, it's linear. And because it's linear, then I can use slope-intercept form. My slope is my common difference. My m becomes the common difference, negative 3. How do you get a b value? You're looking for where the graph crosses the y-axis. So that order pair is 0, 7, 0, and a number. They're in orange, so that becomes 7. So my linear equation now is y equals negative 3x plus 7. And you can also find the slope by using this formula here and just calling each of these order pairs. Like for example, 1, 4. You can call that x1. That's a 1. Y1. And then let's just say you pick a second order pair, 2, 1. That can be x2, y2. And you'll put it in there and you'll get also negative 3. Alright, so we've been writing about the Q. Q stands for what, class?
Quadratic.
Quadratic. So how do you recognize it? A quadratic is a parabola. It's a U. And these were meant to look like smiley faces. You guys see this? When you're having a good day, right, you're up, it's facing up in spirits, you're very positive. But there's some days when you're kind of down, pointing down, you're kind of a negative person at that time. This graph has a negative opening, or negative A value. How do you recognize parabolas visually? Well, they are a curved U. They increase and decrease, so this would be an example of increasing from here to here. Decreasing just means from going down on the, think of it as a roller coaster. You can identify it by the second common difference, and I'll show you an example. The most popular form for quadratics is standard form. There's two other ones, but I just wanted to show you guys standard form. So if they gave you a table of values here, let me zoom in on the table of values. Should have written glittery pen. Let's just say they give you this table of values and you're asked, is this a linear, quadratic, exponential, or neither? Well, to go from this number to this number, I cannot multiply, but I can add. I can add 11. I can add 17, 23, 29. Class, is this the same number here? No, it's not the first common difference. It's not linear. Let's move on to the second common difference. Let's think if they have one. If I add 6 and add 6 and then I add 6, that is the same number. They have a second common difference. Well, what do we do with this second common difference? How can it help us write an equation? Well, find the A value. Find A by taking the second common difference and divide it by 2. In our example, our second common difference here, let's write that, second common difference is 6. I take 6 and divide it by 2 and I get 3. My A value is 3. Well, it says plug in an order pair or an X or Y. Plug in the A value, which we just found. X and Y just means one order pair. You can pick any order pair. I'm going to pick this one, 1, 21. X value is 1. X value is 1. And your Y value is 21. And then here, we also need to plug in our C value. Our C value is the Y-intercept. And we know that because it has the order pair 0, 10, just like from up here, 0 and a number. So my C value is 10. Here we're just going to solve for B, so this would be 1 squared, which is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 10 is 13. Subtract 13 from both sides. That's just B or 1B. B is equal to 8. So 8 is my B value that we just solved. My Y-intercept is 10 from 0, 10, and my A value is 3 by taking half of the second common difference. Alright, so the last part of our foldable is E for exponential. How can you recognize exponential? Well, we talked about how it's like moving your pen across the page. You go from left to right, and I would hope, I started a very small college fund for my children. I hope that the markets do well over the next couple of years and there's a lot of growth in there, right? So my daughter Eloise, she's 1 year old, and 17 years from now, I hope she has a little bit of money in there, so maybe she can buy some textbooks, or if she needs to, I don't know, help pay tuition. But I hope that the bank accounts aren't like my dad's. Back in 2008 and 2009, during the financial crisis, my dad was about to retire, and he looked at his bank account and said, "Ooh, there was a major decay in his account, so he actually had to work 3 more years before he retired." Well, how do you know what exponential graphs look like? How can you recognize them visually? Well, they're smooth curves. They increase or decrease very quickly. And when you look at a table of values, they have a common ratio. It's a multiplying pattern. So let's look over here. Here you have a table of values. Let me zoom in on that. Let's just say I give you the order pairs 0, 9, 1, 38.7, 2, 166.4, and 3, 115.56. And you'll recognize that to go from each of these, you can't add, but you are multiplying. This here in yellow is called a common ratio. Everyone say common ratio? So let's connect that. This common ratio is what I'm talking about right there, right? It's a multiplying pattern. Well, we do have a form of exponential that is in the form of y equals ab to the x power. So this is an exponent, that small little number to the top right. Your a value is your y-intercept, which is a 0 and a number. So my a value in this problem would be 9. My b value represents the r. Class, what does r represent? The common ratio. So our common ratio is 4.3. So my equation in ABX form is y equals 9 times 4.3 to the x power. Oh, we've done something with common ratios before. Class, is that arithmetic or geometric? Geometric. So our geometric, to find the explicit formula to find any term, is your first term, which is g1. Your ratio is just your r value, and then to the n minus 1 power.